Alright, in this video I'm going to do a little bit more outlining, because I know some people on my other video, which I had no idea was going to get so many hits, but some people get confused as to what I was saying. What I was saying was that, yes, the earth is flat, but I prefer of our earth. What you're about to see is absolutely astonishing. We can now fully understand Ezekiel's vision and the shape of our earth. Alright, in this video I'm going to do a little bit more outlining, because I know some people on my other video, which I had no idea was going to get so many hits, but some people get confused as to what I was saying. What I was saying was that, yes, the earth is flat, but I prefer to use the word plane, because it's not really flat, because we have mountains and everything. I am saying that we live on the disk inside of a globe. The globe is the invisible force field, the firmament that surrounds us, and the hollow part of the hollow earth is the center of which I believe is where the vortex is. That is to clarify what I've been talking about. What I'm going to show you in this video is going to absolutely just blow your mind with what has been in the Bible this whole time. And in this animation you've seen how through the golden mean we get the torus, we get the absolute mathematically perfect area of where we live. After one of my subscribers commented and told me to watch the primer fields, when I watched the primer fields I was absolutely just blown away at what I was seeing. I was seeing the answer in front of my face, and that's when I went into the book of Ezekiel and realized what I was seeing in the book of Ezekiel was God showing Ezekiel the world. The wheels within wheels, with the eyes all around. The wheels within wheels, with eyes all around. Would you like to see the eyes and the wheels all around and the eyes all over the wheels? I'll show you those eyes. Here are the wheels with the eyes. The stars, the hosts of heaven, God's creation, the ones, each star has its name, as it says in the scripture. God says, I have named them all. These are the eyes. These are the eyes on the wheels. Our stars. I just can't help but to quote from Isaiah 40:26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. This is what people have been missing this whole time, and it's been right in front of our faces in the scripture. This is what God was showing Ezekiel. The wheels within the wheels are the belts that surround Earth. NASA calls them the Van Allen belts. These are the invisible belts of magnetic energy within the Torus. They keep everything in motion, everything moving like a fine-tuned clock. All the eyes that Ezekiel saw was the stars. All the stars are created by God. They are the luminaries. That is what makes up all the eyes that is being spoken of. What Ezekiel saw was the absolute pure beauty of our home that God created for us. This is what Satan wants you blinded to. This is the absolute magnificence that Satan doesn't want you to see. This is why they mockingly show you that image in Game of Thrones and other movies, the wheels within the wheels over the flat plain earth. They're showing you the truth right in front of your face, and they laugh because you don't understand and you don't see. This is the beauty. This is the sheer absolute beauty of the world that God created, and he called it good. Now that you have eyes to see and ears to hear, now let me tell you this. These wheels that we see, these bands that move like a clock, this is how the sun and the moon do what they do. This explains their movements. It's all about magnetic energy. It's all about the magnetic fields. This is how they're frictionless and how they move in perfect unison. And just as it states in the book of Enoch, through the movement of these wheels, we see how the sun and moon will go through their vaults and rise and return in different areas. This is what the globe has blinded people to, the absolute truth of what God said all along. It has been here the whole time in the scriptures. Instead, we choose to listen to NASA. Instead, we choose to listen to the idiot box. Instead, we choose to listen to scientists, and we heap amongst ourselves teachers that teach us absolute lies to keep us in the dark. When God's been saying the whole time, just look up. Look up at what's around you. I made this for you. That's all God wanted to say. Just take a look. I'm here. I am right above you. You can take comfort knowing that when you step outside and gaze up into that starry wonder of God's creation, just know that our Father in heaven is sitting up there right now, staring down at all of us, watching our every move. He knows everything that's going on down here. He has not missed anything. And just know and be comforted by the fact that our Father is right there, and He's been there this whole time. This is something that the world and NASA and the scientists can never take from us, ever. Even the lying powers and signs of Satan that are coming, the lies of the fallen angels, and the lies of the world that are going to be ever increasing, will still not rob this from my heart. And they will never rob from me my faith in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. As we see in the primer fields in his experiments with the bowls, the magnetic bowls, and when he put these in a vacuum chamber and got the plasma, this really solidifies the electric universe, and this completely puts gravity out of the picture. There is no such thing as gravity. Everything revolves around magnetic fields, and he's proved this 100%. But in this test here, we see how it forms this ring, this disc. And when we get into the mathematics of it all, as I've shown in the following animation, when we do the Fibonacci sequence and we program it in, we get this disc within the sphere where we live, the firmament dome. And outside of that, we see how the rings have interconnected and formed an infinite plane. That infinite plane outside of our realm is God's realm. That is the primordial waters, it can be called, or just the unseen infinite realm. We see this pattern in the flower of life. This pattern is also, if you pay attention, anything on TV and movies, you're seeing this pattern more and more. And again, this is just something being thrown right in your face. This is the sacred part of creation, the intersecting perfect rings, flower of life pattern, the perfect mathematical pattern of God. through understanding the mathematical equations and the golden mean, we can now see through the perfect patterns that God created that our world that we live in is a perfect clock. Everything runs like clockwork, just as God designed it. This is the most amazing part about our earth. The ancients all knew this. Now, if we take a look at Stonehenge, we will see that this is essentially a flattened armillary sphere. If we take a look at the armillary sphere, we understand the rings. It's just interesting that it's been changed to make it look like the outside's a globe, when the truth is it's actually inverted. Upon further study of Stonehenge, that is what we are seeing. And not only is it just Stonehenge, it is other burial mounds, other sites, that is the flattened armillary sphere. We also have seen this shown in the movie Wrath of the Titans, when they are showing the underworld. And what do we see in the middle? You guessed it, the pyramid. That is the depiction of Mount Meru. Look on the underneath of it. We see a pyramid underneath too that descends into the underworld. So there you have your as above, so below. As we've seen from the photograph of the center of the earth showing the open hole where the vortex is, that was done in 1968. The following image is a picture I found long ago. I don't remember where I found it, but it just popped into my mind when I was going through my folder. You know, here we see the star inside, and we see the four heads of the cherubim. We can now understand exactly what was being talked about in the Lord of the Rings concerning the Ring of Power. This ring is the center magnetic ring in the center of the earth, as this guy showed in the Torus fields. And in the following clip, I'm going to show you what else this ring is and what it does, and how science and the occult are remodeling and messing with powers that they shouldn't be messing with. And this is why Revelations is worded the way it is, and this is why when the pit is opened, it is going to be very bad. As essentially, this is what is going to meld the spiritual realm with our physical realm. It will be a blending of the two. And we can see the layers of the symbolism with everything, with the pineal gland to our earth, to the different realms, our realm and the unseen realm, and how Satan wants to blend these together. Because Satan, as the Antichrist, wants to rule in physical form. Whereas right now, the only way he rules is through people, like the Illuminati or the presidents and the world leaders. You know, it's only through influence. He wants to be able to be here himself in a physical type of form in order to rule himself, as do the fallen angels. All they're waiting for is for man to finish completion of the machine that's needed to open the portal into this other dimension. The gateway needs to be open for their reality to blend in with ours. And thanks to a friend of mine, Timmy, who has been doing research and is releasing a video shortly, he pointed out what is found on the 25,000 mark known of the dinar. In the dinar, we see the gateway where he is sitting, where the deity is sitting. Through that, we find the perfect Fibonacci spiral pattern, the entrance to the gateway. We see Marduk on the left side of the note, inside of the egg. These notes are just packed full of symbolism. You know, we see the gate arch above. My friend Timmy's going to be making a very excellent deep study video going into all this, so I'm not going to go into it all. I'll post a link later for when he gets his video up and out on his findings. The guy that made the primer fields has no idea what he was actually uncovering and what he's actually showing. What he stumbled upon in his research is the gateway, the opening of the pit, the ability to meld dimensions together. His information has unlocked all the keys of understanding prophecy and the end times. And now I'll show you exactly what they plan to do and what this gateway is, where it is, and how it works, and what it has to do with the magnetic rings. I'll show you everything that they've been doing.
From the structures in space to the structures of matter revealed in the collisions at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, all sources of data were considered. I carefully studied the amazing research underway at the Large Hadron Collider, and I found a wealth of evidence for this new theory in the collisions there. This evidence will be discussed at length in Primer Fields Part 4. In reviewing a video from CERN, I noticed something quite bizarre, and it wasn't in the data from the collisions. It was in the shape of CERN's most well-recognized building, the Globe of Science and Innovation in Geneva, Switzerland. Not only was it a bowl shape, but the design of the building also had a hole in the top of the dome, exactly as my theory would call for. So I made a magnetic scale model of the CERN dome, placed a set of them in my vacuum chamber, and fired it up. Not only did these CERN bowls form a spherical shape at the center of the reaction, but they also formed a disk of plasma around the nucleus, as well as ejection jets along the axis. After running the experiments for a few days with the CERN bowls, they were removed from the vacuum chamber and photographed, revealing the patterns you see here. These amazing patterns will also be discussed further in Part 4 of this series of videos. Then once it was realized that the key pattern required for this theory was found in the dome at CERN, it was also discovered that CERN was not the only place with the required pattern. The pattern has been there for centuries at the Pantheon in Rome, which has been referred to as the Vault of the Heavens. Then the required shape was also found at St. Peter's Basilica. Then one of my favorites was found at St. Paul's Cathedral in Medina, Malta. Notice the angels circling the hole at the top of the dome, and compare that to the glowing ring that is found inside the bowl-shaped magnetic field emitters in the vacuum chamber. Why are these angels on fire exactly where they should be? Much more on this dome and the others later in this series of videos. So it seems that people often want a sign from God that we are not alone. Sometimes God does give us a sign if we just pay attention. Sometimes he even puts that sign up over the Capitol of the United States of America. Then we will take a look at Newgrange in Ireland. This structure predates Stonehenge by over 200 years, and yet it too contains unbelievable details related to this new theory of the structure of all matter. More on Newgrange later in this video series.
this takes us to the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. The machine that they built, that was the blueprints were given to them by entities from the Vega star, which we have the V. And through these blueprints, they built this machine. It looks like rings within rings. These magnetic rings that open a portal or gateway. And what was the vessel in which she traveled in? The dodecahedron is very symbolic to the universe, or one of the 5 elements, as I found in this one picture. Basically, when she travels in this, she is dropped into the machine and travels through a wormhole. This is very symbolic of what they've done with CERN. Now, considering how old this movie is, and we know how the dark forces that be like to show what they're doing through movies, I believe they were showing the whole time what their plan has been and what they've been building. They've been building this machine, which is CERN, and this machine is what will open the gateway into another dimension, the 4th dimension. And this is what will bring these entities about, and we see this played out through the movie in her travel. Now, let's draw a dodecahedron. As we see the patterns develop in drawing the dodecahedron, we start with the circles, the rings within rings. As this pattern progresses, we see the different various shapes. We see the star pattern, the 6-pointed star, and we see the 5-pointed star, and we go through all the different various shapes. What CERN is it is there to open a dimensional gateway, to infold time-space and open a dimension that is, I almost want to say, a digital dimension that can overtake our dimension, where things that are unseen and have been hidden in the ether would be able to be viewed by us, thus matching the 2 parallels together, the 2 universes together. This is what was going on in the Tower of Babel. This is why God stopped it the first time, confused the languages, and sent people out around the world. This time is different. God is going to allow this to happen. He is going to allow man to open this, and these terrible things will be occurring. Satan will be incarnating himself in a physical body of some kind. The demons that are called the scorpions, Revelation, will be loosed. And we will be seeing things that are going to be blowing our minds. And this is why God's going to allow it to happen. God is basically telling mankind, you wanted it? Okay, you got it. You've been craving this stuff. You've been wanting your dark lords and your dark masters. Here they are. You can have them. And what mankind is going to realize is they're going to wish that they had never, ever messed with this stuff or opened up these dimensions or gateways. Because the entities that are coming through are not peaceful. They're coming here for war. They're coming here to destroy mankind. So did mankind get blueprints from entities to build a machine? And would we be stupid enough as mankind to build such a machine? Well, the answer is yes, and they did. As we look into the decagon, we see this pattern, and lo and behold, look what it matches up to. We have CERN. I had a person that contacted me through YouTube that sent me some very interesting photographs of something he has discovered. And as far as I know, nobody else has put this pattern together with the American currency. And what we find when he put 4 $20 bills together folded in a certain pattern, he found the decagon. And inside the decagon is the square, or the cube. So once again, the elite's plans are shown right in the currency. This is how satanic and Luciferian the money is. I mean, this is why money is just bad. And not only do we find this pattern in the money, he found several other patterns. He even found the Templar's cross, which we know when folded up makes a pyramid. The dodecahedron makes another interesting pattern that we can start to see. Through this pattern, we will start to see the 777 logo, which is embedded all over the place. And also, we see that through the 777 logo, we have the triple spiral logo. All these things are connected for a reason, because those that are in power that be, whether you choose to like it or not, or believe in it or not, they believe in it. And what they are trying to do is bring forth their God. If we go back to looking on the pattern found in the money, notice how on all 4 squares it has the "In God We Trust" encircling it. This is their God, Lucifer, Satan. That is who they follow, and that is who they want to bring forth. So regardless of how people presume this video that think it's maybe stupid or dumb, your perceptions don't mean anything, because it's the world elite's perceptions that matter, and it's what they're bringing upon this world and what they're doing that matters. And this is why people need to wake up. This is why we need to ask these questions. Why do they want to open this gate? Why do they want to bring forth these light beings that are wicked, that are going to pretend to be good, but we know what their actual goal is? scientists realize it or not that work at CERN, they are messing with powers that they cannot comprehend. What lies hidden behind the veil are things that we don't want to see. Those are things that God has blocked for a reason. Those are the entities that you don't want running around and running loose. The things were locked in the underworld for a reason. They're not good things that want to come out and teach us or help us. Those are things that want to come out that want to cause harm. Those are creatures that want to do in people and do in mankind, because they know that mankind is above them, because they're cursed. They don't get redemption. Jesus Christ did not die on the cross for them. Jesus did that for us. But this goes along with what I was saying. Michael, the prince. This goes along with what I was saying. Michael, the prince angel, the high archangel, is the one that blocks the way. And when God tells Michael, okay, it is time, he's going to tell Michael to stand up. And just like Daniel prophesied, Michael will stand up, move out of the way, the gate will be opened, and Satan will come forth. And what I believe, all these supercomputers and things that have been being used and whatnot, this digital realm will be a thing that Satan will utilize, because Satan cannot create like God creates, like what we see in our physical realm here. Satan has to manipulate. So how is it that Satan can best make his own world? Well, isn't it obvious? Through a digital simulation. Now, how that will be implemented, I'm not 100% sure. But I certainly see the training programs going up when we see people that are using the Oculus and virtual reality. It's not just for entertainment, folks. That is not just for fun. That is a training program. That is getting people ready to accept something that's coming. And I can guarantee you that what's coming is part of the pineal gland manipulation, or the mark of the beast, is implementing a chip or some kind of form of technology into your body that basically downloads you into a system. And once you're downloaded or uploaded into the system, guess what? You have now become merged with that. Just like what was shown in the new movie Tron that Disney released. Your disc gets put on you, and all your information is in the disc, and now that disc can be pulled out, and everything that's in your mind can be seen and known. Do you really want some government agency or some demonic entity knowing everything that's in your brain? Would you really want that? I don't think so. And what people don't realize is the further they keep going with this technology, the more dangerous this is becoming, because this technology is aimed at getting into the very core of yourself, of you, of your brain and your mind. This is where Satan wants to get so he can have control. This is part of the mark of the beast system. It is the ability to gain access into your psyche, into the Holy of Holies, which is in our body, our brains, our computer, essentially. This is why the pineal gland should be protected. This is why it needs to remain closed. This is why they want to trick you into opening it up. It's like taking the key, sticking it in the lock, opening it, tossing the key away, and putting your hands near it saying, okay, come on. In. I mean, there's a reason our minds are locked down, because we don't want people to have access to that information. Only God has access to our minds and hearts. He is the only one that can see inside of us and know all that stuff, and that is for a reason. People need to wake up and realize what is going on around them. All these technologies that we see developing are just tiptoe steps to the point where it gets where technology will overtake us and will have unleashed the beast, literally. Now this is where it gets very interesting and really solidifies this together. And I know I've kind of trailed off, but I have not forgotten the whole part of Ezekiel. Now we're going to get into understanding the cherubims, what they are, what they do, and how they actually are forming what we would call the pillars or the foundation of the earth. And out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one of them had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of Adam's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and as for the faces and wings of them, 4. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they had the face of a man, and they 4 had the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They four had also the face of an eagle. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went. They turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like coals of fire, burning like the appearance of torches. It flashed up and down among the living creatures, and there was a brightness to the fire, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel at the bottom, hard by the living creatures, at the 4 faces thereof. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl. And they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel within a wheel. If you haven't caught this, what Ezekiel is describing here, and we have to think in this 4th dimensionally, these 4 cherubs, these cherubim, are the 4 pillars of the earth. These are what is under the earth. This is what makes up the footstool. The 4 cherubim, which are found in many legends and mythologies, these are spoken of all over. In Egyptian and Babylonian, we see a lot of these statues and that showing these multi-faced gods or creatures. What Ezekiel is showing, what God is showing, these are the pillars of heaven. These are the pillars of him who dwells in the heavens. These are earth's pillars that God sits above on, and earth is sat upon. What's interesting is how the other cultures view these pillars or these cherubim. The Maya called them Kab-a-Kab, which was yellow and placed in the east. The other one was called Chak-ba-Kab, which was red and placed in the west. There was Zak-ba-Kab, which was white, placed in the north, and Ek-ba-Kab, which was black and placed in the south. And to the Chaldeans, they were the protecting genie of the human race, the Sep-Alap or Kirub, a bull with a human face, and Lamas or Nagal, a lion with the man's head, Ustar, a human, and Natik, an eagle with a human face. So as many people like to always claim that the Christians or believers in the scriptures stole this information from the pagans, it's the other way around. It is the pagans and the heathens that actually took the information of God and the truth and flipped it their way and renamed these things and renamed these deities and entities and the fallen angels and these gods. They're the ones that actually took from what's proper and turned it into something else. That's why all this stuff matches up. Once again, Satan flips everything upside down to get people confused. And thank you, Iron Light Warriors, for bringing this next piece of information to my attention. This is something that's very interesting, is the Navajo hoop dancing. As we see in this picture here, this is the Navajo worldview. Once again, we see these cultures all seem to have the same worldview of the 4 corners, 4 pillars, the flat earth, and the dome. Well, we will watch a brief video showing some of the hoop dancing, and it'll be very evident what is being shown in this dance. We see him dancing with the rings. You'll see what looks like the Olympic rings. You will see the sphere, the armillary sphere, the rings on the rings. So let's just take a look at this dance real quick and watch how interesting this all comes together.